We have yet even more trades to discuss. These ones include Thomas Vanek, Thomas Tatar, Patrick Maroon, as well as a bunch more. And that's all coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, so as I mentioned off the top, we've got a lot more trades to talk about. These ones aren't quite as significant as some of the other ones. We've seen a lot of dominoes fall here since the weekend. You know, we've seen Derek Brassard go, Rick Nash, Evander Kane went earlier today. We had the fairly big blockbuster deal between the Rangers and Lightning for Ryan McDonough and JT Miller. If you missed any of those videos, there's going to be a playlist here, right up here. You can go check out all of them, or you can wait to the end of the video on the end screen. As the video ends, there will be another link there for the playlist for all the deadline videos if you want to have a look and go through them all individually. So stay tuned for that at the end of the video. So let's get started here. So let's jump into some of the more minor details, minor trades first, and then we'll jump into these kind of somewhat in order of significance. I've got all kinds of notes here, so bear with me. There's a lot of little deals to get through here. Now, the Ottawa Senators have made a small trade. They did trade forward Nick Shore, who they picked up in the Dion Phaneuf trade from the LA Kings. He's now been moved on to the Calgary Flames in return for a 7th round pick. So obviously he didn't last long in Ottawa, and not completely shocked that they decided to move him on. I mean, he did have a chance to play a handful of games with the Senators and really hasn't made a whole lot of an impact. So I guess his little tryout, if you will, didn't really impress the Senators enough to keep him around. They have enough prospects who can play that role. So they moved him along to Calgary for a 7th rounder. Jason Chimera has been traded from the New York Islanders to the Anaheim Ducks. So the Ducks pick up another veteran winger. Obviously, at one point, Chimera was a little bit more of a scoring player before he joined the Islanders, but he hasn't really clicked too much since he's been there. And he's, I believe he's on an expiring contract as well. So he'll go to Anaheim and try to help to get them into the playoffs as well. Now let's take a look here at some of the other deals. Let's take a look at Tommy Wingels is on his way to the Boston Bruins in return for a 5th round pick. I believe that can be upgraded to a 4th round pick, providing, I think it depends on how far the Bruins go into playoffs and if he re-signs with the Bruins at the end of the season, because he is going to be a free agent at season's end. So Tommy Wingels, another addition to the Boston Bruins. So they've added a lot of depth here as we've approached the deadline. I mean, we've seen them go after Rick Nash, they brought in Brian Giunta, now Tommy Wingels. I mean, they're certainly not a young team, but they're lots of experience. And they do, I mean, their young players are good, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the, everything they've added has been experience. So hopefully that'll get them through into a playoff run here. So we'll take a look and see how things go as we go along. So now moving along, Patrick Maroon, fully suspected the Oilers to move this guy, pending UFA. Obviously the Oilers not having a great season. It is possible he may go back to Edmonton next year. I wouldn't be completely shocked if he re-signed there in the fall, or over the summer, I mean, but at the same time, you know, they need to get quicker, and I'm not sure that Maroon, as much as he's proved to be a valuable player in Edmonton, they might have other options, so we'll see. But he goes to the New Jersey Devils in return for a 3rd round pick and prospect J.D. Dudek. So Maroon off to New Jersey. I think he could fit there. They have a lot of other players who are already quite fast, so he should be able to help them move along, especially when it comes to special teams, getting in front of the net, power play, that kind of stuff. So Maroon is off to New Jersey. Thomas Vanek has made his deadline day appearance yet again this year, and he's been moved along. The Vancouver Canucks have traded him off to the Columbus Blue Jackets in return for Jussi Jokinen and Tyler Mott. So the Vanek moves again and Jokinen moves again. That's many times this year that Jussi Jokinen has been on the move in one season. I might have to check and see. I wonder if there's any records to that. That's interesting. Jokinen has been traded a few times this year as well as a waiver claim. So I might have to check into that and see if anybody else has moved around more in one season. I know Antti Niemi did a few times as well this year, but I think Jokinen has Niemi beat. So I'll have to check into that just for curiosity. And then, of course, Thomas Tatar goes from Detroit to the Vegas Golden Knights. In return, they get 3 draft picks. They get a 1st round pick in 2018, a 2nd round pick in 2019, and a 3rd round pick in 2021. I can't believe the Vegas Golden Knights offered up 3 draft picks for Thomas Tatar. I mean, he's a great player. I think he'll fit in well there. But considering what we saw some of these other guys get, I'm quite surprised that Detroit was able to haul in 3 good draft picks there. So we'll see. We'll see what they get out of that down the road. And as we mentioned here, some other videos in the past leading up to the deadline, it seemed apparent they may trade either Tatar or Nyquist. So Tatar moves on. Surprising that Mike Green does not move. The Red Wings have decided to hang on to him for whatever reason. There's absolutely no benefit there. They're not making the playoffs. He's a pending UFA. Maybe they are going to try to work out an extension. I'm not sure. Speaking of extensions, before we go here, I don't think it's finalized just yet, but I did see some rumblings online right before filming this that it looks as though the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be offering Patrick Hornqvist a 5-year extension valued somewhere around $5.2, $5.25 million per year. So there's, I was not sure that he'd be sticking around. As much as I know he's valuable to that team, I wasn't sure with salary cap and whatnot if they'd be able to hold on to him just because of where their numbers are at with the cap. But it looks as though they do have an extension in place that's supposed to be announced probably tomorrow. So maybe you can say you heard it here, Top Shelf Hockey First. So we'll see if that comes to be, but expect that likely to be announced probably by the league either tonight or probably tomorrow was more likely. So it's been a very busy day here trying to keep up with all these picks and prospects and players moving around. Obviously there's been all kinds of deals. The morning was a little bit slow, but we ended up with quite a few deals. This is more likely my last video of the day. At this point I don't expect any other significant trades to be finding out that they get snuck in there before the deadline. Sometimes the deadline goes by and you're still hearing about deals half hour or more later. But I think we're far enough past it now that I think everything's all done. There probably have been some other little minor deals and minor league players or insignificant pieces that we didn't cover here today, but we tried our best to cover everything. Want to make sure that everybody's well informed, and obviously the main thing is to be able to have a discussion on these trades and see what everybody thinks and see what the fan base is thinking, who won the deal. So leave some comments down below. Lots of things to talk about in this video, so give me your thoughts on all these moves and let me know what you think. If you're new to the channel, certainly consider subscribing. We have daily uploads, and on days like this, we have multiple uploads to make sure you get all the NHL news covered on all 31 teams. So certainly check that out and make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave. If you're new to the channel as well, don't forget as well, we're also on social media, and all of our social media links are down below in the description, so certainly check that out. We are quite active on those accounts. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.